Shalom. And I want to start off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chodesh. Double honors to my teachers, dead apostles, and elders, and great Muslim. And salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening. We should further this word with truth and sincerity. And if you Akwith as well, let's listen with sincerity. I'm the brother Mechaya from the camp. Jam, that's what we're on. Coming back to the lesson. And you are what you eat. Okay? And I'm gonna use this saying, which that is a saying in the world, that you are what you eat. Whatever you consume, that's what you become. But this lesson is gonna view in the aspect of the spiritual, of what your mind consumes. Okay? Because whatever your mind consumes, that's what's going to be pouring out of you, man. That's why you have to be mindful of what you consume. Okay? You know, you have to regulate that. All right? Because scriptures say, let's get this. Oops.
Oh.
Speak. Hold on, bear with me. Because yeah, I wish I said this. Let me see. Yep, this one right here. So this is Luke 6. We'll start at verse 44. Okay? It says, for every tree is known by his own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of bramble bushes gather the grapes. Right, because when you go up, it's going to the parable of basically a tree shall be known by the fruits. Okay? So this is the point I want to get here in verse 45. It says, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. Right. Let's read that again. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. See? So, once again, whatever you consume, that's what you become. So if you're a good man, only good is going to come out of you, man, because you're going to be mindful of what you intake, the information, okay? You know, it can be, you know, spending all day scrolling to Instagram or TikTok. That's your whole day. Nah, man, that's folly, bro. You got to regulate that, man. I know there's valuable information that comes out from Instagram and TikTok, but, you know, you should limit it to where that it doesn't take up your whole day. You know what I mean? You know, every time, I don't know, you're sitting down, you feel the need to just go scroll. Because you got to understand, man, these apps, man, they're an addiction. Okay? The phone that you have and these apps you have on there, they make you addicted, man, because, you know, you scroll one, okay, that's some good information. You feel like, oh, probably there's more. Let me scroll again. Oh, folly. Oh, this folly is funny. Let me scroll again. Right? You got to regulate that, bro. Okay? Watching TV, whatever that it is, man. Okay? You regulate it, man. If anything, you're supposed to be pouring more of spiritual things inside you rather than fleshly. Okay? Things that's good to the flesh, things that's, you know, entertaining or things of that nature. You should be consuming more information that's valuable for your spirit. Okay? So that when you speak, only good pours out of you, man. Okay? It says, an evil man out of the evil treasures of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. See, evil man is going to bring forth only evil from their heart, man. Okay? Look at these people of this world, man. All the conversation is folly and foolishness, man. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Compared to the brothers, shit, we be pouring out good treasures, bro. Brothers ain't pouring out evil treasures. You see? So that should give you a comparison. All right? Yeah, you do have some people of the world that, you know, they bring out some valuable information of, you know, current events and things of that nature. Yeah, very few. But for mass majority, it's folly. It's either celebrity gossip or, you know, sports. Yeah, you know I mean, or some meme that they saw. You know, just some complete folly, man. You know? It was here. This is the point. For of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaketh. You see? So, out of the abundance of the heart, what? The mouth speaketh, man. You are what you eat. Be mindful of the things that you intake in your spirit and your mind. Okay? And also filter your thoughts too. Right? You gotta filter, the foolishness too, man. Not everything that you think of should be said. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So as scriptures speak about examining yourself. Let's get that. And 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5, which these people of the world, man, they don't examine themselves, man. They don't look in the inward and see what needs to be addressed and fix it. Us, we do. Okay? Even this lesson right here is an aspect of what you examining yourself, man. Regulating your consumption of information and things of that nature, man. As I'm making this lesson, this applies to me too, because I gotta regulate certain things too, man. We all have our flaws. Okay? Hey, I'll be fighting every time, I find myself like, nah, man, it's too long, man. It's been like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, so you cut it. You put it down, and you feel the urge to pick it back up again. You have to rebuke yourself. Right? Because one thing that I do too is watch these people, because when I go to work or whatnot, I take, public transportation, train or whatnot. Take the train. And everybody in the train, man, mass majority of these people, if not 90%, their head is fucking glued to their phone, man. I'm like, God damn. Because there's also a thing too of a reflex to, it's also a reflex to avoid social anxiety too. It's like a coping mechanism, taking the phone and scrolling so that you don't have to deal with looking at people. That's why they do that shit, man. When I see that, I'm like, yo, I can't be like them, bro. I be rebuking it, bro. Because, you feel it, because, you just there, you just looking, which is completely normal. That's the norm, man. You just be there and you look around, another person might look at you, head nod, it might start a conversation. That's how it's supposed to be. But what is abnormal is the fact that these people, their fucking head is glued to their phone, man, scrolling. And I be watching what they're scrolling too. Mass majority of them is probably TikTok, Instagram, man. Some of them, they be reading, okay? Very few. They be reading an actual book, or they're reading a PDF from their phone, or reading the news. The people that I be seeing doing that is really Edomites, okay? You know what I'm saying? So-called, white people. That's who I see who do that a lot, man. See, even though they're using the phone, they use it for valuable information. That's another thing I try to apply. Okay, if I'm gonna be on the phone, hey, it's either for reading, watching a lesson, or fucking reading an article or some shit. Right? We could learn a thing or two from these Edomites, bro. The scriptures say what? The children of this world are wiser than the children of light in this generation. Right? But the rest, like Jake and whatnot, these others, folly, man. Watching streamers. These niggas be in the train watching streamers, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? Scrolling Instagram, TikTok, and you see these women, they're scrolling to the dating apps, glued to their phone. Which, who's responsible for this, man? Esau, man. He's responsible for having these people addicted to their phone, man. And just consuming garbage. Pure garbage, man. Dumbing them down, man. That's what I mean, man. I try to, as much as I can, I try to rebuke that spirit, man. Sometimes it does happen. I start scrolling. I'm like, yo, rebuke that, bro. Get back. Put that shit in your pocket and just fucking stand, listen to your lesson. And, look around, watch people or some shit, man. Even if it feels awkward, fucking do it. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? Okay? Who are these people anyways, man? They're the ones that can deal with social norm and, deal with, looking at people or socializing and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's fucked up, bro. So I know I'm rambling on, but it's still valuable information to give you a point of view of what I'm talking about, man. Because when you just put your phone down, you look around, man, you still learn too. See, look what I learned from fucking just putting my phone down and watching people. I see the behaviors of these people, man. If my head is glued to my phone, I wouldn't be able to have this information to add onto this lesson. You see what I'm saying? You know, you learn a thing or two, you know, on watching people and seeing how they behave and things of that nature, man. Because also this phone takes away from the experience. It takes away from you experiencing life, man. If your head is constantly glued to it. You know, even when they get off the train, their fucking head is glued to the phone, man. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. But anyways, man, let's get a script, okay? 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5, it says, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. Yeah, examine yourself, man. Look inwardly. Address the things that need to be addressed. Okay, and I'm bringing this out on the point of, you regulating the information that you consume. Okay, lest evil starts pouring out of you, man. Okay, because the more you feed the flesh, the less room the spirit has to maneuver. Okay, you gotta give the spirit room to maneuver, man. And one of the ways you do that is what? By consuming things that's beneficial for your spirit, as far as information. Okay? Yeah, information is valuable at times too, but not all information is good for your spirit. You know? Another thing I try to apply is when I wake up, it's not to just go and fucking scroll, man. When I wake up, I put on a lesson. You know? Recalibrate my brain. Get me in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? To try to see which lesson I'm going to do. You know? It gets my mind to meditate upon spiritual things. That's what I try to do, man. You know? Which, it does happen. I put on a lesson. I be scrolling at times too. Which I try to rebuke it. Once again, we're striving for perfection. You got to put in the effort too. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. This is how I live. I'll be slipping. I'll be scrolling. Shit. You know what I mean? But you just got to be mindful of it, lest it consumes you. To where that your flesh is getting more rather than your spirit. Okay? Well, yeah, I wish I said, wow. What's that? Flesh is weak. This is Matthew 26 and verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit itself is willing, but the flesh is weak. Yeah, the spirit is willing to do what's pleasing unto the Lord. But what? The flesh is weak. The flesh is always going to want to have his way. But that's why you got to bridle the flesh. Okay, you decide when to feed the flesh. Okay, you decide, okay, this is the time that, you're going to be fed. This is the time I'm going to feed you. Or, I'm going to scroll for like 10 minutes and put you down. Whatever. I got to feed the spirit now. Right? The spirit is willing, man. Yeah, your spirit is real willing in the spirit. Hey, if we're up to us, we'll be in the spirit 24/7. But the flesh, is holding us back. But it's not an excuse. It shouldn't be an excuse, man. Okay, you still gotta strive, because this is a fight. This is a fight, man. Okay, the flesh against the spirit. You gotta let, arm the spirit for it to win against the flesh, man. And these things are regulating the information that you intake as part of that, man. Okay, you arming your spirit so that it may combat the flesh. There's another scripture in Proverbs. It says, as he thinketh, so is he. Let's get that, man. Which, and that scripture is referring to the king, but we apply this as well to, how that your thoughts could affect you. Okay? Bear with me. All right. Yeah, there we go. This is Proverbs 23 and verse 7. It says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, he said to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Okay, it's going to, king or whatnot. All right, but I'm using this in the sense of, hey, whatever you think, that's what you are. Once again, whatever you consume, you become that. Okay? Gotta be mindful. The information, your thoughts, rebuking certain thoughts, and not speaking it. Okay? Because there's power in words too. When you speak certain things, they do apply. Okay? Let's say you make a mistake, you're like, oh man, I'm so stupid. Hey, that's a vibration with that, man. It's gonna fucking attach to you, man. That happens sometimes with me. I'm like, nah, I'm not stupid. I'm very intelligent. Because words are vibration, man. It might seem small. Oh, this guy's tripping. Nah, he ain't small, bro. Okay, as you think, so is he. I take that serious, bro. I try to, stop that, bro. You make a little mistake. Oh, I'm so dumb. Nah, you shouldn't be saying shit like that, bro. Because that vibration is gonna attach to you, bro. And if it does come out, you rebuke it and say, nah, I'm very intelligent, man. I'm a man of the Lord. It's just a mistake. Mistakes happen. We're moving on, man. I ain't stupid. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, that's the point. All right? So I'm going to close it off there. Making all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachach Chodesh.